Grab your mochas, grab your lattes, grab your frappuccinos, whatever the hell you're drinking. Settle on in. It's Coffee Shop Comics with your host for today, Jobbers and Goons. And yes, today we are returning to discuss one of the most slept on mangas out there, Toriko. Now, today's subject, 4 Heavenly Kings. We're going to be discussing each one, which of course, the 4 Heavenly Kings being Toriko, Sunny, Coco, and Zebra. If you are a fan of content like this, power scaling anime or comics, smash the like button. Let's try to get this to 100 likes. That would be amazing. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so, as we are on the road to 3K, as well as check out my main channel, Jobbers and Goons, which is about to hit 20K. But anyways, getting back to this, I'm going to go one by one through the 4 Heavenly Kings, describe them, kind of explain what they bring to the table, and then explain where they scale. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's begin. So first up to talk about from this group of Heavenly Kings is Coco. Now, Coco, one of his biggest things is his sight, in particular his precog, and he can see the future. In fact, Coco is described as being a fortune teller when we're first introduced in Chapter 8. Given similar properties as some of the higher tiers in the verse, Presence also typically has fear-inducing hacks, and Coco is no exception, as it is shown that for him as well, when he is walking around, he does have passive fear hacks with his presence. He also is in possession of a high-grade thermal vision, as Coco can see through darkness as if it was midday. The changing of lighting does absolutely zero to Coco. He is known for his poison manipulation and even extremes of this, like his extremely lethal poison skin. Coco can release very potent poison from his skin that scares even other poisonous creatures off. It is made abundantly clear that Coco is essentially the sauce god when it comes to some damn poison, and it bypasses and is stronger than even the strongest poisons you'll find around. Now, obviously, being an expert in poison, Coco is going to have to become very secure when it comes to handling the product, and because of that, Coco is outright stated to be immune to over 500 types of poison, making it very hard to reverse his own powers and abilities back on him. He also has poison dressing, which he can treat as a projectile. This is when we see Coco release poison from his body as a projectile to use as a ranged weapon. He also has his famous poison cannon. This is a large blast of poison shot out by Coco for another powerful long-range option. He also has his poison rifle. This is an accurate and fast 3-shot poison attack used by Coco against his enemies. And he also has disintegration resistance, as his poison shell was actually able to resist disintegration upon contact with disintegrating weaponry. He also has antibody creation, and what I mean by that is, if he lacks the antibody to fight a poison, he can immediately create it within himself in order to automatically combat against it. His poison as well is explained to bypass durability. That is, Coco's poison directly affects your nervous system, and even if you have high-grade durability, it's literally going to go right past it. And what's interesting about the strength and potency of his poison is that in Chapter 13, it's revealed that Coco nerfed himself in the fight so that Toriko would be able to eat the beast after they fought it. This means Coco possesses and has poison so strong, even Toriko, a fellow king, cannot endure it. He also, Coco, has high level stealth hacks. He can straight up, it's described as being essentially erasure of his presence entirely if he so chooses to. He also has an extreme level of poisoning called Hell Poison. Essentially what this is the poison, not only does it have its toxic poisonous effects, it also boils at an extremely dangerous rate to the point that even metals get bypassed. So you're dealing with a high level poison that has many fronts to attack you on. His reaction timing is also slept on and pretty OD, considering that he's even superior to Toriko in reaction time as of chapters 161 and 162, which is very impressive. He also has clone hacks, where he is able to take some of his poisons, manipulate them, and project them as clones of himself and his allies, allowing them to walk around entire cities and engage in combat and heal from these injuries no diff, because it's not them. It's actually his poison clones. All around, Coco has a very unique ability and skill set chart with his poisons, his vision, and all that. And like I said in the beginning, at the end I'll kind of be explaining how all these characters would actually scale, because the scaling metrics for them, for example, country level in Toriko is not regular country level. So I'll have to explain it at the end. But let's move on to the next Heavenly King. Now, next up is Sani, or Sunny, however you want to say it. I'm going to say Sani because that's how it was written in the manga when I read it. But Sani is most famous straight up for his immaculate hair and the OD shit he can do with the different strains of his hair. Now, Sani kind of came in the game flexing literally as he displayed massive strength by lifting a massive mammoth weighing well over 40 tons and literally just yeeting the shit out of it. He can also perform knocking or bypass durability without even actually touching his enemies, which is absolutely insane in terms of like being able to body someone without touch. This makes him incredibly difficult to deal with. In terms of strength, we've seen Sani have crazy flex moments. For example, he once punched a massive golem so hard that it flew over the horizon and disappeared. He also has tricky hacks such as damage reflection hacks. This is essentially, and he's called it things like spatula, where he can outright reflect physical attacks back at his opponents, oftentimes destroying them with their own AP. He also, like I mentioned at the beginning, is well known for his hair manipulation and strength hacks. All of his hairs turn out to be... I'll get a little bit more into direct scaling for each strand, but they're massive in power just for each strand. The problem they have to deal with in this case is that Sani is able to literally manipulate his hair to a point that it's stated there is an infinite amount of different strands of hair, which is infinite strength. That's absolutely crazy. He can also combine some of his abilities, for example, manipulating his hair and its power with hairnet, plus using spatula, making him incredibly dangerous when he starts spamming. He also has hair lock and cooking hacks. What I mean by that is he can actually use hair lock and other abilities to envelop you in a casing and then literally start cooking and boiling you alive. That's right. The boy literally starts cooking you with one of his abilities, which is a horrible way to get defeated. He also has insanely intricate operation skills and manipulation of his hairs, to the point that Sani can use his hair to perform emergency operations on patients in order to help them out. He also can amplify his abilities and his moveset / hacks upon further training. That is, one of the examples we saw is when he used spatula times 5. This was a super spatula move, or a technique where he massively amped his prior reflection ability and attack. He also has a massive planetary AP and life wiping manipulation. Now, like I said, stay tuned till the end where I discuss why, quote, planetary and Toriko is very misleading. And if you want further evidence of that, go check out my Toriko cosmology video and my other Toriko content on this channel. But anyways, at one point we've seen that literally his hair is regarded as being uncuttable, basically indestructible, and it gains appetite energy to the point that it would devour all potential life and energy on the Earth planet of Toriko and extend outward beyond that. Each strand is stated to be capable of this level, which is absolutely insane and is a crazy feat. He also has demonstrated that he has nervous system control hacks. That is, his appetite is something more than just a manifestation of his gourmet cells. It is his actual demon. He's able to manipulate this and take over everybody, like every single nerve in someone's body, which is an insane manipulation ability. He also has been shown with his hair to be able to completely manipulate it, and he can use it in such a refined way that he can literally, with the hair, bend light itself. Overall, Sani has one of the weirdest movesets among his group, is notorious for his infinite hair, and is very dangerous among the Heavenly Kings. Now, next up is the boy Zebra. Zebra is a strong motherfucker. There's like no way to further, like, better describe it. In fact, he kind of came in the game, being implied above even the likes of Toriko, as he was regarded as Zebra, one of the four Epicurean emperors, a first-class, dangerous creature, and he was the most evil, the most vicious, last of the four Heavenly Kings. Literally, no one really wants to deal with him, as he's an absolute menace and insanely powerful. He also, in terms of awareness, has incredible senses. In fact, his hearing, even compared to other hunters and superpowered beings, is massively enhanced. So sneaking around on him is almost impossible when he's trying to track you down. He's tanked execution multiple times. Like, it was basically said he was killed, but it didn't matter. He just tanked death, which is crazy, and we're going to get a little more into in a little bit. But he literally, like, has been put through execution and just tanked it. He also has high degrees of pheromones and mind hacks resistances, as he kind of just chads his way through it. And he also, in terms of being hacked in this department, it got pretty crazy because the warden with pheromone hacks literally said the only creature around that could completely negate this is the likes of Zebra himself, which is crazy. And kind of getting back into what I had mentioned with him just tanking death, it's basically discussed how he like transcends death and is beyond the concept of death. In fact, Zebra is confirmed to have tanked death itself multiple times. As it states, he has been executed multiple times. While these creatures he got into it with could scale above capture scaling that would be country level, it is stated that when he confronted them after it's revealed how he's literally tanked death multiple times, that he's toying with them and could easily body them if he so chooses, because he's that big of a powerhouse. He then debuts some of his repertoire of powerful abilities, a lot of them sound-based, one including Sound Bazooka. Now, within Toriko, as again I have to mention, at the end of the video I'll talk about how this, quote, country and continental level in Toriko is misleading. Zebra's scream shatters his restraints that were attached to beasts that scale above country level. So he's like casually beyond country level in Toriko, which is massively beyond normal country level. He also has outright planetary AP statements and implications, as Zebra being freed was viewed as a cataclysmic event for the world by a fortune teller, as nations prepare to literally be wiped off the map by Zebra running around and doing crazy shit. He also has demonstrated pretty potent sound wave manipulation and hacks. Zebra's sound waves can appear as bolts of lightning or even create explosions that encompasses the entire horizon through his voice alone, as he batters his opponents with these crazy sound waves. News stations around the world have literally labeled something as a Zebra report for his level of danger, which is essentially nation wiping and even planetary wiping. He also has an ability called the Voice Cutter. Entire countries take countermeasures against Zebra when he demonstrates this, including the time he uses his voice cutter to slice through a creature with his voice alone. In terms of fooling him, this is also extremely difficult to do, as he has lie detector hacks. Sorry, hairball. And he can essentially see through any sort of lie you try to tell him or sneak past him. He also has incredible echolocation hacks. This allows him to obviously emit a sound like locator, which will individually spot any enemy within the distance of the locator. He also has something literally called the sound of death. This, as you might have guessed, is quite literal, as Zebra takes sound to a whole new level in which he literally speaks death. That's right. It can just bypass creatures and their durability, and he can literally speak death right to them. As well as outright casual Zebra has been stated to have easily in Toriko like island level busting abilities and attacks should he choose so. Overall, Zebra's brought in the game as one of the most power daunting kings out there, and his sound wave abilities and manipulation makes him an absolute nightmare to deal with. Next and final among the kings, we have Toriko himself. So the last king for us to discuss is Toriko himself, the main character. Now, even in Chapter 1, he comes out showing he's an extremely powerful character, as he is capable of slicing through glass with his fingertips and starting fires by simply snapping his fingers. He's obviously, right out the gate, a physical freak. His sense of smell is considered better than police dogs. Like, if he's hunting you, he's one of the most elite at tracking the scent. And he showed early on not only an insane amount of balance, but a insane amount of power in his legs, as he easily righted himself and remained casually balanced on a 20-ton boat that was shaking violently. We then see Toriko swapping hands with a Gala Gala crocodile, or a Galala. I don't know how to pronounce it, my fault. This crocodile, though, weighs well over 80,000 pounds, and we saw in this exchange, Toriko is easily able to toss it aside. In terms of durability for this beast, no shotguns or tanks can bring this particular crocodile down, but Toriko's hands pierce it and easily decapitate it, showing that his bare hand weaponry is massively beyond human weaponry. He also possesses the ability of knocking, which I briefly spoke on. This is an attack that essentially bypasses durability. It directly attacks the nervous system of whatever is being targeted and damages them on the inside. He also possesses a technique called the nail punch. This puts a 35-foot crater into a wall on initial impact and the barrage pierced through the wall entirely. This wall is capable of keeping creatures within it that scale massively above tanks and rocket launchers. He has an insane sense of smell that only continued to develop and progress, as it allows him to even not only sense characters from a massive distance away, but he can literally sniff them and immediately tell their power level, which is a ridiculous hack for instantly understanding what he's dealing with. He also has a pretty good case of poison and venom immunity. Toriko, after releasing smoke from his body to scare away poisonous snakes, states that he already had anti-venom, but we never saw him injecting it. So basically what he's saying is it's a natural byproduct of what he has. Toriko has natural resistance to poisons and venom. His speed was so crazy that it was stated to, at the very least, be milliseconds in combat speed, even early on, as he was casually able to evade massive gorillas. And his presence at an early stage could pacify and humble level 9 captured beasts, which are massive monsters. And just the fact that his presence alone could humble them is pretty impressive, and shows you have to be in a certain power level to resist this from him. His poisons, toxins, and venom immunity is further extrapolated upon, as we discover that Toriko is immune to over 70 kinds of toxins, poisons, and venoms. He also has proven before that vision is not mandatory for him to be at his peak in fighting. That is, he literally has displayed that he doesn't need vision to fight and can combat you perfectly with his other senses. He also possesses the nail gun, which bypasses durability, and basically goes by whatever defenses you have and damages you on the inside, and this ability developed further on. He has photographic reflexes and high level stealth hacks. We saw that literally when Toriko observed someone else using an ability, he could use it as well right after seeing them use it, which is insane. He also has an advanced healing factor, and by eating, let's say he's carrying snacks on him or whatnot, he literally can heal horrible wounds rapidly and nearly instantly just by consuming snacks and whatnot. His power is absolutely insane, as he can punch air so hard that the shockwaves produced can literally blast through solid stone, and he's able to tank his neck being broken and heals immediately due to his gourmet cells, and fights on with increased strength. So damaging him through his gourmet cells, he can basically get a Zenkai boost, immediately heal, come back even stronger. He also has demonstrated not only the high level regeneration in battle, but the Kugi punch, which is insane as well. Toriko had a hole blasted through his chest, and after eating the meat of the mammoth, he is completely healed and amped even far beyond what he ever was up to this point. His Kugi punch has a long lasting effect compared to the nail punch, where basically it's a much greater duration of damage. He evolves his attacks like the knife and fork style, and can literally bypass the physicality and nature of it. That is, Toriko, when using knife and fork, goes from slicing physically, to slicing life, energy, and life itself with his strikes. He also has leg, fork, and knives, which is much more dangerous than his regular fork and knife attack, as his legs are always 3 to 4 times stronger than his other attacks with his arms, given the nature of the muscles in his legs. So whatever his arms and hands will scale to, his legs scale above. He has precog hacks as well that develop throughout the series and become so acute that they're better than most precog. And not only this, he has absolutely zero hesitation in combat. So trusting his instant reaction in precog is a lot easier for him. We have seen that the massive planet of Toriko, which we will discuss in a little bit, and like I said, I've done videos on before. The reason the planet's important is because we literally saw at one point Toriko resisted the planet's GBE, or gravitational binding energy, which is several times bigger than the planet itself, or stronger than that, which is crazy for a durability feat. He's also shown the double Kugi. This punch was so potent in this attack, so extreme. The twin Kugi punch was able to literally blast through an endless stream, which is an insane feat. He also proves that his precog gets much more extreme, and he can see attacks coming much faster, which proves his precog only gets more advanced throughout the series, which is scary. And he also has displayed later on even more insane healing, to the fact that not only is he healing massive injuries, but we see Toriko is capable of healing himself on a cellular level, which is a very potent healing hacks. His strength is clearly demonstrated pretty early on. Continental plus strength, as he was able to casually shower the entire human world in food. If we're just considering this as like the landmass, we could consider this to essentially be 30% of the planet that is covered by this food, and we will discuss in a little bit after I finish up Toriko just how strong this would be in terms of the range of power for covering this much of the planet. Next, we got to discuss the development of his smelling and senses, because this gets a lot more extreme. His sense of smell and hunting ability becomes so insane that his sense of smell literally can transverse time. That's right. His literal senses of smell is so crazy, it's not even restricted to time and can pass by it, which is crazy to think about. He also ends up demonstrating that he has mind hacks resistance himself and presence / reality warping hacks, as at one point he shows that like he can project, if you're weaker than him by a certain level, he can project an image or reality upon you and make you think that's happening, and he doesn't even have to touch you or fight you at that point. He then shows later on that, and this makes sense given his cellular healing, he has cellular manipulation and control hacks on a very extreme level, and can even see to that degree. And then we finally later see a massive reveal on his appetite itself, as his appetite is revealed to be God itself. That's right, his appetite is quite literally the power of God. Toriko's last and strongest gourmet demon pokes Acacia, who is compared to the universe and called the universe itself, and killed him for good, which makes sense considering his appetite is literally God. Overall, Toriko, the main character, shows many unique hacks, physical attacks, durability negation hacks, life attacking hacks, reality warping hacks, insane senses that bypass even time, and the appetite of God itself, among other things, making Toriko one of the scariest combatants from his verse. Now, after this massive video where we've covered the 4 Heavenly Kings, and by the way, smash the like button if you haven't already, because this took a lot of work. What do they scale to in attack potency? I kind of want to cover the planet side, right? So, like I've said in my previous Toriko videos, the planet is literally infinitely bigger, and even more than infinitely bigger than our own Earth in reality. This planet has shown it was like small compared to the planet, a 5 light year wide blast. There's beings that are literal moving black holes that exist in body of waters on the planet. This sky is infinite and endless in nature with vegetation. Heaven, there's several infinite ingredients spread throughout the Earth. There's infinite characters there. You can literally argue the planet itself is universal in size or even bigger, and infinite in nature as the sky itself is as well, which would massively upscale everything else as a cosmological aspect of the verse, including other planets, larger planets, and Earth itself in the universe itself. This could give universal to universe plus scaling for the 4 heavenly kings, with Toriko eventually surpassing even these, potentially surpassing the limits of the universe, putting himself at multiversal plus and even more. And this makes the 4 heavenly kings one of the most underrated powerhouse groups in anime, as with the scaling of how insane the planet can be, they are easily high tiers with universe plus, scaling above infinite in nature, AP, and potency for each character to match their insane, unique hacks. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this installment of Toriko coverage. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to check out my main channel, Jobbers and Goons, and I will see y'all later. Peace.